Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see me play your deck, hang out with me in the amazing BoshNRoll community in Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, book an individual coaching session, or just generally want to support what's going on here, check out the Patreon and YouTube membership options. For the finest Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, use code BoshNRoll for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com and play any deck anytime on Magic Online with a cardhoarder.com loan account. Thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back for another BoshNRoll video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Derek, I am playing whatever I want. Derek sent me a dealer's choice. I love when people do that. And Eternal Weekend is around the corner, just a couple weeks away. I haven't played Vintage on the channel in a while. It's the perfect time to cash in this dealer's choice and play some Vintage. I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty out of touch with the Vintage format right now. Luckily, it doesn't move very quickly, doesn't change much month to month, set to set. It takes a lot to clear the bar of Vintage playability. And going over to MTG Goldfish, checking out the Vintage metagame, Blue Tinker is still the #1 top archetype. At least in terms of representation. I don't know about win rate. And that's perfect for me, because that's the type of deck I like to play anyway. Of course, named after the namesake card, Tinker. Tinker can get you Bolas' Citadel, and then you start casting your deck. Or it can get you Time Vault or Voltaic Key, which take infinite turns and win the game. All of that tucked into this control value shell. There's so many engines in these decks. I'm eyeballing it right now as I'm speaking in real time, and just like, you got Urza Saga, and your mana base is largely made of artifacts. That's just how Vintage decks work. Urza Saga tokens arrive bigger in Vintage than they do in any other format. Just arriving as 4/4/4/5 on the first one. Just let's friggin' go. Urza Saga Beatdown is a plan. The Chapter 3 of Urza Saga gets you Manifold Key, which makes you halfway to the Time Vault combo. You have all the fast mana, which enables just completely busted horse hockey, like tutoring up Time Vault, for example. Time Twister plus Hullbreacher. There's 4 Hullbreachers in this deck. Hullbreacher is a combo with Time Twister and with Dak Faden. You have Narset as well. There is only the one wheel in this build. There's no Wheel of Fortune, no Windfall, none of that other kind of stuff. Pretty light on the kill combos with Hullbreacher, but heavy on the Hullbreacher itself for that card. Ancestral Recall with Snapcaster Mage, that's a combo. Demonic Tutor for whatever you need. Narset as a lock piece and a Dig Through Time. Then we got Force of Will, Pyroblast, Flusterstorm, just tying it all together. Main deck, a Braid. I imagine this is a flex slot, and a Braid is the choice in this deck. Yawgmoth's Will, love casting that card. Yeah, this is just all the most busted cards in Magic's history, supporting a infinite turns or Bolas' Citadel Tinker line. I've made no decisions myself about this deck. Like I said, I haven't been working on Vintage lately. This is the start of my testing process for Eternal Weekend. This video, you're watching it in real time. Pulled this list from the most recent challenge. It literally won the challenge 2 or 3 days ago at the time of recording. And I'm going to trust the expert on this one. I'll see what I like, what I don't like after the league. But I'm ready to just go in with this thing. I like everything it's doing. The power level's undeniable. I like having multiple angles of attack between the Tinker, the Urza Saga, and then there's a high creature count in this Vintage deck. There's 5 actual creatures that can attack for power and toughness in your blue deck. That's a big number. If you're not used to Vintage, 5 is a lot of creatures. This main deck is designed with blue mirrors in mind. That's the Flusterstorm, that's the Pyroblast. The sideboard is just going to be all stuff for Dredge and Shops. A lot of Dredge here. Tabernacle is for Dredge because they can put creatures into play but can't really pay for them once they're there. Grafdigger's Cage, Nile Spellbomb, Pithing Needle, Kine Bazaar, Baghdad, among other things in the format. Lightsteel Colossus. This is for the Shops and Bug mid-range, the Xerox kind of matchups where you just, rather than try to combo off with Time Vault or Bolas' Citadel, that can be disrupted, and they're subject to various points of disruption. Blightsteel Colossus just goes in. Here's my big idiot. Good luck. More blue hate when you need that. A braid for both the shops and the creature decks. Opposition Agent primarily for Doomsday, but you're going to be happy with it. Most of the time it's in play. The Ixalan Jailer for the Bazaar decks. Fatal Push for the creatures. Hurkyl's Recall for shops. And Flusterstorm, more blue and combo hate. This is what vintage decks look like. Tons of one-ofs because every card is restricted. And we're just playing lots of restricted cards. That's where I want to be. Let's go vintage some people. 3-for-1 Trading is having a Black Friday sale that runs until Monday, November 28th. Their entire inventory is 5% off, and they offer free worldwide shipping on all orders over 341 euros. Today, Thursday, November 24th, they have additional sales on selected high-end foils. The sale is on top of their 5% off Black Friday sale, and supplies are limited. Better get there before I do. These things look good. Visit shop.3for1trading.com to learn more. I'm on the draw in round 1. This hand has some protection in it in Force of Will that can pitch the Fluster or the Hullbreacher. It has a turn 2 Hullbreacher. This isn't really a busted vintage hand. And if this is a matchup where Hullbreacher's bad, this hand is just truly heinous. I do have half of the combo with Manifold Key. I'm going to keep this for science. This is on that line of best hand I'd mulligan, worst hand I'd keep. But it does have free interaction and at least something resembling a plan. Oh, that's a good start. Yeah, they're doing vintage stuff. Occasionally there's temptation to counter a Black Lotus, and sometimes it's right. This card needs to be forced. I think I'm going to pitch the Flusterstorm to do this. Yeah, if they have Sedgemoor Witch in their deck, I'm not sure. Chilling on Hullbreacher or chilling on Flusterstorm is where I want to be. I want to get something going here. There is a cool trick that I could have done here if I had a Pyroblast in my hand, which is tap my red source to play Key, then use Key to untap my Mox and Pyroblast. It's not available, I don't have it, but it's a cool little thing that can be done. Oh, this Hullbreacher. Brainstorm. You only get one of those in this format. It's pretty devastating to spike it, if you do. Vaccine Probe. They know what I'm cooking with here. They know the shields are down. So are yours. Good stuff. Oh. Is it time to Demonic Tutor? Do I think this deck is going to have Dark Ritual Opposition Agent in it? Or do I just want to slam the Hullbreacher and put them on the ground? In Demonic Tutor for Ancestral just fills my hand up. Demonic Tutor for Time Vault sets up a win next turn. I can also just pass with all my mana up. This is not embarrassing. Yeah, if I just get Ancestraled here because I didn't main phase this, that sucks, but I'm going to cast my Hullbreacher. Force of Will pitching Thassa's Oracle. Oh, you're a Doomsday? Weird. Was not expecting that to happen. Well, kids. Welcome to Vintage. They just cast Force of Will. I'm going to Demonic Tutor and start trying to set up this Tinker to resolve. If I had an extra mana, I would have just shoved the Tinker first. I think Thassa's Oracle is concerning, though. This is probably a Doomsday deck, which means they play Dark Ritual, which means they might have Opposition Agent. Just hoping for the best here. I could get Black Lotus, use Lotus to cast Tinker, and take all the turns right now. There's a long hesitation on this DT that hard to read. They could be in the tank here, or they could just be showboating me a little bit, or they could just be getting a sandwich. I don't know. Okay, Flusterstorm. Fair enough. They did have interaction, and I cannot pay for both. I'm glad they did end up casting the interaction spell. I did not want to have to figure out if I should DT for Black Lotus and just try to win or not, or set up a counterspell for next turn. They're through their Brainstorm cards now. Ooh. Twist. I'm going to go for a Tinker. And this is Vintage. Counter my Hullbreacher, counter my Demonic Tutor, and here comes Tinker. I have the Key in play, but that involves passing the turn. I still have my land drop. I think I can go pretty ham with Citadel. I'm going to go that way. Cast Acvaden. Alright, cool. They've seen enough. Yep, I countered their spell, they countered a couple of mine, and the last busted spell won. Opposition Agent, I'm bringing in Flusterstorm, Pyroblast all look good here. Don't know if I want Fatal Push. We saw Sedgemoor Witch. There are at least some creatures in this deck. Not sure if Pithing Needle is where I need to be here. There's a deck that's not going to attack my mana base. I could shave Basic Island. Sensei's top, if I play 2 of these, I usually cut one in a lot of matchups, but having just one that goes off with Bolas' Citadel, I want to keep that. The Abrade is awkward because I don't even know if that's going to be good. It does kill Sedgemoor Witch, but I could also just combo out over a Sedgemoor Witch and not worry about that. How many of that card do I think they play? Is this like a known archetype that has a bunch of them? I still have Brazen Borrower that can insert a creature. All right, that rolls out Fatal Push. If I'm cutting the removal spell that's already in my main deck, I'm not about to cut another card to bring one back in. I'm looking at Hullbreacher as just kind of the most replaceable card. It's the only 4 of in the deck that I'm not super stoked on, but it's a 4 of for a reason. Merchant Scroll doesn't help me get to Tinker. It does get Ancestral or Counter Magic as necessary. Right. I'm going to cut Brazen Borrower and just be kind of shields down to board stuff. And if they show me board stuff that's scarier than Sedgemoor Witch, I'll revisit. This hand sucks. Holding the Citadel, so we're already on 6, and my land doesn't make mana. That is useful. This one is actually like similarly frustrating, but much better. I get to put Citadel back in the deck. I can Force of Will, and I can activate the Saga with Mana Crypt. And if I find a black source, we're just in business. Gothy Voidwalker, well, I'm having regrets about having all that interaction, or all the board-based interaction. Yogg Will in my hand. I don't really want to give them a Force of Will for later. Alright, I'm going to let this resolve. That's fine. Let's take my medicine here. They're really good at drawing Black Lotus, which is important to success in Vintage. There's a Saga. And if I play Crypt, I can punch through Flusterstorms, but that's an extra Crypt flip I have to survive when I'm trying to race this 3-power creature. I'm not going to play Crypt. Extremely interested in a black source right now. Oh, look at you showing off with your black sources. Found a black source. Here's a land. Here's a Crypt. Force of Will, pitching Thassa's Oracle. Okay. I can fluster this. I think I need to. Please don't oppo me. Having Underground Sea. Oh, I could have... Pyroblast is in my hand. I should have Pyroblasted that, not flustered it. But here we are. Because Fluster, I can pitch to the Force of Will for a 2nd layer protection. That was not good. Oh no! Yep, and they wouldn't have been able to pay for it either. Okay, yeah, that was a punt. Okay. Hard mode activated. And all of those go into the void. They can Flusterstorm if they want. I'm just F6'd over here. Getting beaten down by this Voidwalker. Getting nothing out of my Urza Saga. Go to colorless and tutor. So I want Sensei's top to try to get out of this. Opposition Agent doesn't win me this game. Yeah, I think I need top. Just try to make anything happen here. I'm gonna cast Oppo while I can. Go to 6. Dead very quickly at this point. I don't even know what I'm drawing to. This is just complete obliteration. On a consultation. Okay. They named... hold up. They just cracked a fetch. Named Polluted Delta for a demonic consultation. Unclear why. They just wanted to show me their deck. They're holding Flusterstorm Treasure Cruise. They consulted for Polluted Delta and with Oppo in play, and I'm going to lose this game anyway? Hey. Leyline Karn Helm, Gurmag Angler. This is some Dark Ritual Stompy deck. They seem to have one Thoracle in the deck that they've pitched to Force of Will both games to combo with their demonic consultation. Okay, so it's not Doomsday at all. Okay. Take your Underground Sea, thanks. Go to 6, and I'm gonna spin top in my upkeep, and I'm gonna draw this Scalding Tarn, and shuffle and hope to find something good. Basically have to win at this point. like find the combo and deliver on it. Force of Will on top of the deck's not bad. Time Twister's interesting. Force of Will is on top of my deck. I am dead on board to the Dothy with nothing in my deck that can kill it. Even the Brazen Borrower is gone. And another one. Well, it was dead anyway, sure. Doesn't change anything. Just have to spin up a Miracle. I'm going to draw a Time Twister. I'm going to flip top to draw this Mox Jet. I just want more mana available when I make my moves here. I can still draw Tolarian Academy this turn. I'm not going to make the land drop from Exile yet. That is a card in my deck. Tap out of black for this, both to protect my spell from Force of Will and because I have a black land drop lined up. And this did not get me where I needed to go. Okay, we're done. Now that I know what's going on, pitching the Thassa's Oracle really messed with me game 1. Now I know I need this removal like crazy. I don't even know if Abo Agent is good. But now they have to think about it. And Pyroblast doesn't seem great either. I mean, not to the extent that I have them. They're like a Karn, Leyline, Creature deck. They have Force of Wills and Ancestral Recall, but that's not a heavy Pyroblast situation. Yeah, maybe I just went too hard on the anti-combo stuff. They tricked me. They do not appear to be drawing a lot of cards. I'm going to switch one of the Hullbreachers back to Oppo just for some variation in my threats, some diversity. But I want Dismember. And I took way more than 4 from that Oppo Age, or from the Dothy Voidwalker, and they play multiple of them, and it's a combo piece. Yeah, maybe Hullbreacher's just not good. Got my creature removal in this time. This is where they pivot on being a Doomsday deck. I'm gonna keep. I can do some stuff, and I have Force backup. Under. This is not really going anywhere that I want to go. I was really interested in another land. I'm gonna shuffle this. Oh, shuffled into Vault Key. Count it. Mox Sapphire. Show me the Black Lotus. 3 for 3. Vaccine Probe. Uh-oh. Well, they know what they're up against here. Vault Key with Force backup. God damn. Alright, opponent. 3 for 3 on Black Lotuses. And they know I have Force of Will. I will cast mine on this Narset. Card's a problem. Yep. Alright, well, the good news is I have the ability to spend my mana over the next 2 turns and win the game. I just need them not to have any other interaction. Which they did just spend some. Merchant Scroll. Pretty good. Black Lotus. Ooh. Alright, I'm going to play Time Vault and try to win next turn. Pass. Narset. If Narset finds any blue card, they can scroll for Force. Oh, Thoughtseize, come on. This deck. Alright. Yeah. 3 Black Lotuses, tough to beat. And they're scrolling for Force of Will, god. Ugh. Oh, that's his top, get in there. Can't cast this Brainstorm. Snapcaster's not great either. We're making a construct. I'm gonna spin my top now. Misty Rainforest, Dak Faden. Can't draw 2 cards a turn, so I can't draw Dak and then flip for the land to cast it. It's just not even there. What do I need to do to win this game? I need to get through this Force of Will. Okay, I'll put this Misty Rainforest on top and then probably be dead. Dak is on top of my deck. We can end step Snapcaster Mage to pressure Narset if they don't have another creature. This is the power of Urza Saga in Vintage too. This thing is just so good. Left the creature back. Not interested in getting Snapcastered. Okay, I'll spin the stop. 2 Daks and a Vamp Tutor. Okay. I'll draw a deck. I know they have Force. They can't hardcast it yet. This is my last chance to get 2 cards out of them. Force pitching Gush. Okay. All the Force is gone now. Brainstorm. Alright. Voidwalker. This clock is very fast. This is a cool deck. Blue-black tempo with some combo potential. Remember when they Thoughtseized me? That was shitty. I can Snapcaster Ponder. I don't get to draw a card, but I can at least move cards around. But Sensei's Top also does that. No reason to look on my own turn. because can't use it anyway. There's Tinker. All right, Tinker's on top of my deck. And a Crypt. Are we getting Wheeled? Helm of Obedience. Okay. I mean, I can kill Dothy here. I should have responded. I won't be able to do this anymore starting next turn. Or if they go in my upkeep, I can do it. But if they wait till my draw step, I can't. Okay, I'm getting helmed. I'm going to spin top because there is a Fatal Push here. Then draw for top. Fatal Push, the Voidwalker, and Force Blue card were the last things they had. Sure, I am dead. That was a complete kicking. And they started all 3 games with Black Lotus. They needed the Black Lotus to find the Narset. Narset found Thoughtseize, and then Merchant Scroll found Force, and they just won the game with 0 cards in hand. And it's still behind on this board, but Tinker's floating and they're empty. This was actually really close despite them coming out of the gates with busted starts the whole time. That's vintage. Off we go.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
On the draw in round 2, I have Mental Misstep and Force that pitches Narset. I hope I don't have to Force, because accelerating this Narset is my plan. I have a turn 2 Narset with Force backup. Ancient Tomb. I don't like Ancient Tombs. Oh my god. This deck is not going to have very many targets for Mental Misstep, so I'm cracking this one off, and they're just going to pass the turn now. That's what I thought! Get off my porch. Land, Pearl, and now I have a second blue card. Narset's not going to be as good here, but because they're not a blue deck. But this Dig Through Time. Narset is also Dig Through Time. I have 2 of the same card in my hand with different levels of castability. I'm going to force the Sphere, because this is a miserable card to play through. I played around the Wasteland. I'm not going to be able to keep playing around Wasteland, but I have many lands in my hand. What color is more important? A Braid is red, and my tutors are black. Jack is red also. I have more red than black. I'll offer up a Volcanic Island on the Altar of Wasteland here, but if they are hurting for mana, they might not even be able to Wasteland. To be determined. Gataxian Probe and Pyroblast. Neither of these are good in the matchup, but let's at least see what they got going on and draw another card. Found Force of Will. They've got Revoker, Ghost Quarter, Golos. They can kill both my lands this turn, but then they're behind against Narset with like, they can kill both my lands and revoke my Mox Pearl. Yeah, that's actually fucking insane. I only have one of these. Yep. Coast is clear. I'm gonna have to force this Revoker, or else I will lose to it. That will attack me for all 13 damage that it needs to. Narset and this land, let's dig out of this. That's a good land. And that's a Tinker, kids. I'll put this Tinker in my hand and Flooded Strand into play. And Tinker next turn. Their hand is Golos and 2 mystery cards. Pithing Needle. Okay. Pithing Needle is free. I'm going to get that in first. Pithing Needle naming Wasteland, I think. Pithing Needle on Wasteland. Play Tolarian Academy. Fetch it. I think it's still Volcanic Island. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to yeet the Pearl. I just hope I don't need it anymore. I am getting Citadel. I've already made my land drop. My life total is kind of low. Punished immediately. But I'm hoping I don't need to go that fast here. What was their draw for the turn? Do they have anything to do with it? Okay, they can Golos here. Yeah, that's a pretty good situation. They could grab a Ghost Quarter and try to slow me down next turn. I'm really not trying to give them a next turn, though. All right, Urza Saga. They're playing the attacking game. And a Crypt is a freebie. All right, let's go. I'm going to hold priority and cast Merchant Scroll, because if there was an instant on top, I'd want to cast. then I can cast it before I search. Get this Ancestral Recall. Raid. I will destroy target artifact on Golos. Then, do I want to make this land drop? Or do I just want Ancestral through it? I'm going to make the land drop. Ponder is free. There's Sensei's Top. Ugh. I stacked that wrong. Okay. Do not shuffle my library. I should have drawn Hullbreacher and left top on top. Let's get going here. My life total being low is the only reason my opponent's playing the game at all right now. Here's the combo. You draw a card, and then you cast top from the top of your deck. Storm. That card's not good. Academy's good for 4 right now. Am I going to need more than that? If I try to twist my way out of this, how many ways do I have to clear Mana Crypt? I don't want to die to my own Crypt, which is a problem. Tinker's already in my graveyard. That was a Braid. Yeah, Mana Crypt is my issue at this point. I'm going to Ancestral Recall myself, using my black mana to do it. Oh god. It's every land. Oh. I can activate top the boring way. I'll do that. Okay, Time Walk. Hullbreacher versus Saga. Time Walk. I can cast Hullbreacher, then draw a card. Cast Time Walk the hard way. Then replay top by paying life. Now I'm at 4, and I will survive the Crypt flip, even if it doesn't go my way, and get to reset this turn. Try this again with my land drop available. Won the flip. Okay, we get to keep playing. Another Hullbreacher on top. And a Crypt. Let's get a spin here. Demonic Tutor. Can I win? If I Demonic Tutor for Yawgmoth's Will, what happens? I can tinker away the Mana Crypt, and I'm going to... damn it. I resolved that like it was a Ponder. I am so sloppy at Vintage right now. Okay. I'll draw with top, just to clear this. My plan is to not have Mana Crypt in play next turn. There's no fast mana, or there's a Mox Pearl in my graveyard. We can't go too fast here. I could, and I'm at 1, so I can't cast spells with Citadel anymore, including the top. Can't crack this fetch land in my hand. Hard to believe I've ever won a Vintage tournament based on this. Where's the Saga going into play? And then 1, 2, Yawgmoth's Will. This gives me Time Walk and Tinker. Okay, yeah, Time Walk, Tinker. I clear the Mana Crypt, I take an extra turn, and I can tempo them out from here. That was harder than it needed to be, but figured it out. Sparkle's Recall, a Braid, probably Dismember, Fatal Push. Oppo seems kind of medium bad. Let's see how many cards have to leave the deck. Storm and Pyroblast have to get out. Fast Mana is all good. Lands are all good. Ataxian Probe is optional. It's a blue card for Force, but you mostly don't care what's in their hand, and it's rarely 0 mana. Reason Borrower is great. Hullbreacher is blue for Forces. Oppo can... Oh, Blightsteel, duh. I specifically said Blightsteel is for shops in the deck tech, and here we are against shops. Yeah, Oppo, like, if they're built around Golos, there's at least some searching of their deck, but that's probably going to be the only searching of their deck they do. Who's going to bring in 4 removal spells and Blightsteel Colossus. It's also reasonable to cut Bolas' Citadel on the draw against shops. Mental Misstep's not great either, but like we saw, Soul Ring and Mana Vault are both hits for it. If I don't misstep the Soul Ring, I lose that game every single time. Well, here is one of those on the draw versus shops moments where my hand is straight fucking fire if my spells are castable. I'm going to keep. Please stop there. Uh-oh. They never stop there. Phyrexian Revoker. Name Black Lotus and pass the turn. Yep, Black Lotus, and that is the normal blind name for Phyrexian Revoker. Now let's do the twist. Oh, I drew a 4th Mox. I don't even think I'm going to play a land before I do the twist, because I could still draw Academy. And hope they don't have Mindbreak Trap. Twister. Oh, well, good thing they named Black Lotus for them. Bad for me. Where's the Saga? Get in there. Please top, get in there. And I am going to cast the Black Lotus because it's valuable in play. And now they have a 7 that they didn't keep on purpose, but it is 7. And I have 4 of my 5 Moxen and Black Lotus in play. Open for the best. Horn of Amethyst, that's annoying, but Blightsteel doesn't really care. Wasteland is fine. Blightsteel doesn't care about that either. A spin top in the end step. Make sure I don't draw the Blightsteel, and it is there. I'll take this Ancestral Recall from my trouble. And play another Saga. And hope they don't have a 1-mana artifact that beats Blightsteel. Tinker sacking this Black Lotus. I'm just going to get Colossus and Turtle up here. I do get a tutor. Urza Saga also is overlap with Opposition Agent, since we were talking about that in the deck in sideboarding. There's Golos and Saga at least. This is a lot of mana. There's a Golos. There's a Thorn in play, so trying to opt to find Force of Will doesn't matter. They play a Glacial Chasm or anything that can stop this Blightsteel. Is there a Mazavith? Enters Fair. Okay. Paying 1 under their own sphere for a Mox Ruby. No good attacks. Looking for Hurkyl's Recall for the win here. Reason Borrower, that does it too. Demonic Tutor for Hurkyl's. They're all the same thing. Saga goes up, and I'm going to attack first. My creature has Trample. I'm going to let them make their blocks and then kill them. They've made their block. Now I'm going to Petty Theft Golos. And you're going to take 11 poison. I'm ready for combat damage. We did it. We beat Shops. Little sloppy game 1, game 2. We just did the thing. Just vintage Magic, folks. Let's keep rolling. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and every other format you'll see on this channel. They have multiple customizations so you can view your deck how you want. Text view, stacks, grid, custom grouping by type, subtype, color, light mode, dark mode. However you want to see your deck, they can provide it for you. My favorite feature is you can choose your set printing, make the deck look exactly how you want it to. The deck screen features expandable sections that show you what tokens your deck makes, your recent change history to the deck, stats about mana curve and opening hand distribution, mana cost distribution. You can deal out sample hands and even play test the deck. Island Ponder. You know I'm keeping this one. This site has everything. Follow me on Moxfield.com to keep up with decks I'm playing for the channel and what I'm up to in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play here, and this hand is kind of a bummer. It's not really going anywhere fast. And without knowing the matchup, I don't think I want to just sit on like Urza Saga, but is this deck built for this? Nah. I mean, I could play that game, or I could just mulligan into a fucking Tinker. Let's go. I'm jamming here. It's vintage. And I want to send whatever is least helpful on a backup plan. Vamp Tutor's pretty good all the time. Manifold Key lets me win if I Citadel into Time Vault and a mana source. I think Key is the worst card in this hand. All right, let's find out if I'm dead. Underground Sea and Tinker. Just resolved. There we go. No lands for Royal. Oh, we found the top. GG. And now we're just doing the thing. Turn 1. Merchant Scroll holding priority. I'm going to grab a Force of Will. Both that makes sure I get another turn. And it means I don't have to hit it. All right. Oh, they should have conceded in response to the probe. They were like half a game action too late. Now I know what their deck is. This is Shops. Yep, Golo Shops again. Yeah, if they had conceded in response to that probe. Yeah, they said in the chat, no, shouldn't have F6'd. Yep, that gave me a lot of information. Okay, we've seen this one very recently. Information is king in formats like this. Just be very careful with what you give away, and if the game is over, you should probably concede it. Blusterstorm, Pyroblast, Mental Misstep. Getting out of here. Blightsteel and 4 interactives on the board spells. And that looks like a plan to me. And we were talking about Oppo Agent. If they have Golos and Urza Saga, and we saw Time Vault in their hand when we probed them, maybe there are some versions of shops that play Tinker. Like I could cut the probe and just get Oppo in here. That's one less blue card, but another angle of interaction. I'll try it. I don't think it's right. Not totally sold on it, but I'm going to try it. Well, we don't like Blightsteel in hand, and there's no blue card to go with my force. This is a mulligan. Ugh. I like 3 of these cards. Don't have artifacts to really go off with Academy. I'm bricked by whatever prison thing they play. Yeah, no fast mana, no force. I'm going to mulligan this one. Okay, no force, but lots of fast mana. What does this hand look like if I keep it? I probably send Hullbreacher to the bottom and try to do stuff with Narset. And a little risky. I think I'd rather have actual lands than this Soul Ring. And I think Mox costing 0 is better than Soul Ring costing 1. There's more spheres in the deck than chalices. Yep, there's a sphere. Okay. Oh, Force of Will right on time. I'm not mad about that. Them starting on Saga is kind of a beating, though. I think getting my basic is worth doing over trying to play towards black spells. Lots of mana in play. If they can activate this Urza Saga, we're miles behind. Had to cast your Sapphire and just fine on the Saga. Never worried about it. Ah, my own. A little late to the party here, but I'm not disappointed to see it. And I think holding up Force is better than casting Narset here, because Narset just dies. In the deck tech, I talked about how constructs are just so big in Vintage because they start big. This thing's a 6/6. It's turn 3, and they're about to attack me with at least a 6/6. They could also tutor up Pithing Needle, name Urza Saga, and just block me out while they kill me in 2 turns with constructs. Any Wasteland here is a beating. Yeah, this is shops on the play versus shops on the draw. It's a nightmare. They did get the needle. They named Urza Saga. Okay. They are just planning on cracking me in 2 turns and making this game over. Second sphere, and I can't really beat the first one, so I'll make sure this one doesn't resolve either. But I gotta draw Hurkyl's Recall to stabilize the combat at least, and then do something else. I am dead for Xaxes, and nothing I can do about it. Okay. Goodbye. Now we get a game on the play. Let's repeat game 1 again. Just turn 1 my opponent. I'm hitting submit. I could turn Opposition Agent into a second Pithing Needle and name Wastelands. This is so close to turn 1 Tinker Blightsteel. I have tons of mana, but I'm holding the actual Blightsteel, which is not where you want to be. You have turn 1 Saga and a ton of fast mana here. I don't know if that's even good, though, or if it's good enough, and holding the Blightsteel sucks. Hardcasting Blightsteel is not unheard of, but because Hullbreacher doesn't actually do anything in this matchup, I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, I can dump out my fast mana and cast Demonic Tutor, set up a turn 2. I'll keep this. Underground Sea, Mana Crypt. I'm going to play Demonic Tutor second, just in case they have Mindbreak Trap, and then I'll play my Mox last. I want Tinker, as usual. Grabbing this Tinker, then I'll play my Mox, and pass the turn. This hand's almost perfect if this Volcanic Island was a blue card. But then we'd be soft to Wasteland, though. I'm in for what we got here. Drawing a blue card would be great, though, if I could back up my Blightsteel with a Force of Will. Land. 3-ball. Okay, that's fine. Now they have to beat Blightsteel out from under their own 3-ball. Reason Borrower. 1, 2, 3. 4. Yeah, that doesn't matter. And I think I want to tinker away the Emerald. Put Blightsteel Colossus into play and pass the turn. Eternosphere was a great find instead of any other sphere because now I can't force. But they do have to beat this Blightsteel. And I have Brazen Borrower that even if they metamorph, I can bounce theirs. Here we go. Another clean match against shops with Blightsteel Colossus winning the game after the sideboard. Keep on rolling. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw in round number 4 with pretty solid legacy hand, but you can't keep this in Vintage. If I knew the matchup, if I knew there were some fair or moderately unfair blue mirror, maybe, but if they're Dredge, I'm dead. If they're Bug, I'm dead. If they're Shops, just dead. I'm gonna send it. Okay, here we go. Keep this one. We got Force Blue card and some stuff to do. This is still more fair than I'm happy about. We saw last round where we just had all 4 Moxen and Black Lotus in play at the end of turn 1. That's what I want. But I'll take this. Underground Sea, Mox Pearl, and they have the real arts of both. This is a serious gamer. Ooh, you know who else is a serious gamer? The guy with a freaking Black Lotus. I'm going to play the Lotus, and this gives me Hullbreacher with Flusterstorm backup. If they try to do anything cute, I'm going to blast them. Cast a Ponder, or an Ancestral. Even better. I mean, Brainstorm's the best one, because that also deletes their hand. I'm just going to deploy this thing. We're in there with the Breacher. And I'm just going to go to my turn and attack. Start there. This is where they trade with their own. Okay, got away with that at least. Drop top, I have Force of Will or Flusterstorm as appropriate, wherever I need to interact. This is a lot of lands without casting any spells. I'm going to top in my upkeep. I'd love a Pyroblast. I have Flusterstorm and Pyroblast backing this thing up. And I get to shuffle this turn, send that Mox Sapphire and Bolus the Citadel away. Your own Hullbreacher. I want to fight over this on their turn. Tough to pick the spot to act here. I don't really want to take 3, but I also can afford to if they like put Time Twister on the stack. Oh my god. This is certainly the mirror match. End step, Pyroblast. I do feel behind right now. I had the attacker and the lock piece and they didn't, and I had the accumulated value of top and they didn't, and they now have both of the permanents that I have and several more. Their Hullbreacher's answered. Let's top in the upkeep again. Another Breacher that I can't cast for a while. I'm going to draw a Merchant Scroll here. That gives me Force Blue card and Flusterstorm if I need to interact with 2 things. Still pushing damage. Cracking some fetches in the end step. Another Hullbreacher. This one I'm less equipped to deal with. I could draw with top now. Get that out of the way. Or do I think that having a card forever is better than selection every turn? Okay. I'm going to let them have their Hullbreacher. We can get weird together. They're topping in the upkeep now. I have a second Hullbreacher on the top of my deck. They've already been through 2 of theirs. Bull Ring, yep. They're close to hard casting Bolus the Citadel, for whatever that's worth. Leaving their Breacher back, they want to tangle, or at least sit and look at each other. Snapcaster Mage, now we're cooking. That's a good one. That lets me snap Pyroblast and beat up on their situation. Yeah, I'm just going to draw go here. Neither of us can draw for top. They have more mana than I do, but I have more cards than them. And I have a clean answer to Hullbreacher lined up at some point here. I'm not going to end step the Snapcaster. I can top again. There's a land chilling. And now there's a Force of Will. I'm going to draw the land, which unlocks Flusterstorm to help push my Pyroblast through. I'm going to act in their end step. Flusterstorm's kind of bad here because they have so much mana. We'll see how this all shakes out. This is not a mirror match because I don't have 4 Underground Seas in my deck. And they have 4 in play. I wonder if there's some sort of like Doomsday with a fair plan. Or is this that same blue-black Stompy deck that we played against in round 1? The tempo deck, combo tempo deck? I don't know. Clearly pretty different. They go for hardcast Force of Will. That taps them out of all this big tasty mana they've been working on. They decided to pitch cast Force even though they have all this mana. I think that means I should pitch cast chucking Flusterstorm. They have 2 counters here, they got me, but they're clearly willing to play around Flusterstorm to the point of just throwing cards into exile. Okay, and it's going to work out for them. I'm not getting a Snapcaster Mage here. And I can't draw Force of Will and cast it from the top of my deck because there's a Hullbreacher in play. They are now Hellbent though, and I can get the first looks here. Another Hullbreacher. Another Force of Will. Merchant Scroll doesn't do anything great with their Hullbreacher in play. I could get Dig Through Time. That's a pretty good card. I could also just shuffle this, try to spike Tinker while they're tapped out. I am going to shuffle this, try to spike something good. Because I have Merchant Scroll for Dig Through Time if this doesn't work. It's not like I'm just giving up medium action for no action. Guaranteed some action. A Braid, hello. That's really good. Okay. Gonna Braid their Hullbreacher and continue the beatdowns. 3 damage to target creature. Double ammo. My top card is Mental Misstep. I could keep floating that there, or I could Merchant Scroll. I think I want to keep floating the Misstep. I could have drawn with top, found Misstep, and then also scrolled. That's live. They're making moves here. Kraken fetches, trying to see new cards off Sensei's top. Their life total is so low that Bolus's Citadel isn't even great. They find Tinker. If they find removal spell. We've only seen blue and black mana. I don't even know what removal spell they would have for that. Sheoldred. It's a powerful spell. Take a look. My Merchant Scroll can get Dig Through Time, which gets around Sheoldred. That doesn't really find an answer to her. Back fading pretty bad here. They just pulled way ahead on the race and everything else that's going on. Until Misstep, Gitaxian Probe, Urza Saga. Okay. Gitaxian Probe just became basically the worst card in my deck. And we'll take this Urza Saga. And yeah, Sheoldred's in there. I could clear top, but I think just activating top is worth enough here without drawing a card. Merchant Scroll. Find me, Dig Through Time. There's a Brazen Borrower in the deck. Time Walk. Is that even good? That supercharges Urza Saga, so yeah, that is good. Time Walk, and Narset is card advantage that doesn't draw cards. I like that a lot. Flusterstorm's protection. We grab a second Saga and really go in on that. I play Saga. I take a hit from Sheoldred. Then I play second Saga, Time Walk, make construct with the first Saga, Tutor. That's a really aggressive play to the board roll. And I think I kind of like it. I'm going to get Time Walk in Saga. Then play a Saga. And I'll send the turn. Get to spin their top. Yeah, Sheoldred is exciting. That's a reason to be straight blue-black. This is the biggest thing there is in Vintage. Biggest normal creature. Okay, no good cards, please. Yeah, that's a good card. This is bullshit. Sheoldred's getting her Pound of Flesh here. Narset gets to do something. They know about some of 2 of the cards here. Nothing busted, please. Just take a break. Honestly, even Force of Will's a nightmare. Oh no, I'm just fucking dead. Oh, they got ahead of me on the Time Walk? Yeah, they attack me to 4. I draw to 2. I Time Walk, I'm dead. Okay. Yeah, Time Walk, a powerful spell, and they got just ahead of me on this race. Dang. I guess I could have checked with Sensei's top and seen if there was a Force of Will there for the Time Walk. Narset missed. Activating top. So I need to find Brazen Borrower, and it needs to resolve. Okay. I'm at 4. I go to my draw step, and I'm at 2. They can Ancestral me, and I take 6. Truly the best card in the Lightning Bolt cycle, if that's the case. Ponder, yep. These are not cards I can play. And I can't even draw an extra card if I wanted to. Yeah, I'm just dead. We're out of here. That was a powerful turnaround. Sheoldred won that game all on her own. Good stuff. Looks like a Fatal Push Dismember matchup. Pithing Needle does not seem essential to this matchup. Might not need Basic Island here. I didn't see any land destruction. Pyroblast and Flusterstorms are tempting. A Braid is tempting. Well, Pyroblast kills the same creature that a Braid does. Opposition Agent. There's always hits for Opposition Agent. I'm just not sure when I'm supposed to bring it in. You bring it in any sort of value matchup where taking a card off them is great, or is it just for decks that really rely on that sort of thing? I think I'm cutting the Abrade from my main deck. Pyroblast is just an upgrade to that. On the one thing that I care about, abrading, Pyroblast both counters it or kills it from play for less mana. Do I need this Yogg-Will in a fair slappy matchup like this? Am I going to be going big in a mid game against a Hullbreacher Narset Sheoldred deck? If I'm cutting Will, is Oppo Agent Fluster or Pyroblast better? I'm not convinced on any of those particular measures. Okay, I'm going to try this deck as it's currently configured. Are these quasi-fair tempo Dimir decks? Played against two of them now. I'm impressed. Between Dothi Voidwalker, Hullbreacher, Sheoldred, there's a lot of just efficient, annoying bodies that can just kill people in Vintage, because you don't really play removal in the traditional sense in Vintage, as creatures are not really what most games are about. Yikes. The Nutters with a blue source, and I'm not going to count on Gataxian Probe to find me my blue source. Doesn't do anything with 3 colorless mana. This is a powerful hand to send. Goodbye. This is a powerful hand to keep. It goes both ways. I think I'm going to send... Alright, I'm going to count mana. It's either Mana Crypt or Vampiric Tutor are the things I'd send. Do I want 3 additional mana in my opening hand, or the ability to tutor? I have... If I send the Mana Crypt, I'll have 3, 4, 5, 6 total mana. I have 9 without it. I think I'm going to send the Vamp Tutor. And I'm going to try to bait with Ancestral and then Tinker. Playing the worst one third, so to play around Mindbreak Trap as much as I can. Vintage! Fuck, they had messed up. That's really shitty. How'd we do? Do you also have Force? You do not also have Force, or they're not forcing yet. I can grab Tinker and ask that, getting Bolas' Citadel. I could get Time Twister and refresh my hand and force a mulligan onto them. I could actually just cast... Oh no, I'm 1 black short of just casting Bolas' Citadel straight up. Which is probably better than Tinker because it's not card negative if it gets countered. Tinker, you have to sack something to cast it. Get an Narset and grind. It's got to just be Tinker though, right? Alright, fine. Tinker. Okay, we're in there. Please don't hit a land right away. Hullbreacher, and then land right away. Alright, well, at least Hullbreacher's in. Hullbreacher Bolas' Citadel is a pretty good turn 1. We're casting Mox Ruby. Can't draw extra cards. If they have, like, Brazen Borrower, that's pretty freaking annoying. It's Soul-Guide Lantern. They're probably a Saga deck, which we didn't see last game, but it makes sense. Lantern just hit my Black Lotus. Mana Crypt. There's more. Sensei's top. Okay, these cards are all worse than they want them to be with Hullbreacher around. Get a Crypt flip here. So weird that Moto asks heads or tails when every Mana Crypt ever in history has been odds or evens. Lost my Crypt flip. That is significant with Bolas' Citadel in play, but the Crypt helped me get it there. Did its job. I don't like this pause in my upkeep. If my opponent can bounce my Citadel right now, I'm just in the garbage. Okay. I'll play Underground Sea from the top of my deck. Jesus Christ. There's not even that many lands in the deck. Okay. Let's continue slowly accruing advantage. The old turn 1 Tinker to deck's notes, draw 1 extra card per turn. They also lost their Crypt flip, but now they have shitloads of mana available. They've activated top. Moved to second main and cracked to fetch. Merchant Scroll. Okay. I really have nothing. Like, go nuts, homie. Do they have just a traditional bounce spell like Herx in the deck? That's not a good card. least not right now. If their last card in hand can answer Hullbreacher, this Ancestral's a nightmare. It would have to be Dismember, though, with the mana they have available. And Hullbreacher is not Narset. They don't even get one card off the Ancestral, no matter when they cast it. Speaking of Ancestral, Merchant Scroll. Ooh, Snapcaster Mage. Holding priority, Snapcaster Mage. Holding priority. I don't know that I want to Brainstorm. I mean, I want to Brainstorm, but knowing they're a Hullbreacher deck and they have the requisite mana, I mean, it's honestly not even that bad if this happens. All right, I'm going to Brainstorm also. Okay. That's the magic of holding priority. Just getting 3 spells in a row. This is where they fluster all of them. They're spinning top in response. They can't draw a card off it. Like, I don't know why they're even looking. That taps them out of Hullbreacher, which is great. Brainstorm resolved. I'm going to put Volcanic Island and Mox Sapphire back into the deck. And Mox Sapphire is just a cool hit if we go back around with Bolas' Citadel. And then I get to hold up Force Blue card. Snapcaster Mage, target. Wonder if it's Demonic Tutor or Tinker. I think it's Demonic Tutor. A DT can be whatever I want. Oh, it doesn't even matter. There's a Soul Guide Lantern face up on the board. And Merchant Scroll's resolving, so I'm going to get priority here to cast this Demonic Tutor. Weird. I think I want to take a Force of Will. Just put the shields all the way up. It also gets a Force of Will out of the pool of things I can hit. Alright, Demonic Tutor. Before the Soul Guide Lantern clears it. Okay, Flusterstorm. Was your plan all along. I only get 2 mana here. It's worth it. Fluster you back. I get put to the test of flustering a Flusterstorm on Magic Online, which is the hardest thing anyone can do. Harder than med school, I've been told. See if Dr. BoshNRoll is reporting for duty. I think I did it. They can pay for one of these, and then I can pay for the one that they pay for the one. And then I get a Demonic Tutor. Also because I get one more Flusterstorm than they do, because their Flusterstorm counts the storm for my Flusterstorm. One of their copies has 2 targets of Fluster on it, and it's just Russian roulette of which one they want to pay for. Trying to navigate the stack of what's targeting what. They paid for one. Let's see if they did it correctly. They appear to still have a Flusterstorm on the stack. I would like to pay the one, yes. Okay. You get Sensei's Top and set up the loop, but I don't think that's where I want to be. I think I want to get Time Vault. Try to set up unlimited turns. I mean, they're dead in 2 turns anyway, and I could die to my mana crypt before then. And cast Top with the mana I have available. Top's also just really good with Citadel in general. You can also play Time Walk this turn, just with the mana that's currently in my pool, even if nothing else happens. Alright, I'll get Time Walk. I'm going to cast the Time Walk, and I'll ponder. Stacked my Citadel wrong again. I gotta tighten up on that. Losing a lot of points here. I should have put the land on top and then draw that, cast Mox Jet, and then Pyroblast. I draw that for my next turn, but now I'm a whole card behind where I'd like to be. It's won the flip. Okay, winning that flip should make this game just fine for the rest of the day. Switch it to 2. Cracking the fetch puts me to 7, losing a flip puts me to 4. Got a little life to play with here. But for Volcanic Island, Narset. I already have Hullbreacher in play. If I have to Force of Will, alright, I'm just going to leave this here and pass with them dead on board and my handful of counters. And make it also just out of their own crypt. Won the flip. A miracle. They have an Urza Saga and 1 card left in their hand. I'll make a Construct. Won my flip again, too easy. Hullbreacher on top of my deck. Make another Construct, because Constructs represent mana to cast Force of Wills with. And I can get Sei's Top here and just be set up. Move into my combat here. Don't even need to do anything else. Okay. We had a busted draw and punched our way through. Tinker's a hell of a card. That Bolas' Citadel was kind of trash for like 2 turns, but we still easily won the game. That's just the Bolas Citadel experience. Just going in with the same deck. I haven't seen anything that would make me change my mind of what I liked about this configuration. I have a Lotus hand. Doesn't do much else. The upside of this is there, though. I even have Force Blue card. I'm going to keep this. Like, Lotus casts Yogg-Will, and then that replays Lotus, and then I can do whatever else is in my graveyard. It might take a turn or two to get there, but the upside of this is bonkers. Gitaxian Probe. What do you think? Is my hand good? Ooh. Touché. Well, they've seen my hand and are still casting this card. They must know that they must have their own Force of Will. I'm gonna force pitching Dig. I was talking shit, but we're getting vintaged. Okay. Now we gotta beat Sheoldred, which Demonic Tutor does do straight up. Black Lotus. I can just get Fatal Push and kill Sheoldred, and then play an ugly slow game here. I think I have to. Is Yogg-Willing better? I could Black Lotus, Yogg-Will, re-Lotus, and I just have Lotus in play. And I have to sack it to DT anyway. Yeah, I'd rather have the tutor in my graveyard for when I eventually Yogg-Will. Take this Fatal Push, please. Which is on because of the Black Lotus. Alright. Powerful magic. Let's see how long we just slap fight each other here. Okay. Not going to be too long, I hope. We get Volcanic Island and Time Walk. I am just interested in the Explorer here. Come on, Urza Saga. Oh no! Okay. That was one of the worst draws. Urza Saga is one of the best draws. They know I have Pyroblast, they saw it. Uh-oh. They're getting the pieces together here. Okay. I said one of the best draws. Please don't have the key as well. I think I may have just clicked through an entire extra... I don't know what just happened. Oh no, alright. I got twisted up with the Time Vault, and I looked at the chat log that said BoshNRoll takes an extra turn. I was like, wait, did they untap their Time Vault? But it's not tapped. No, they didn't. I was just looking at Time Walk. Okay. I am approaching 5 minutes on my clock, so I gotta make something out of this game. If they skip their turn, it sort of does that? Yeah, they can skip their turn and force my Saga straight to Chapter 3 and I don't get a chance to activate it. I think that works. Yeah, if you would begin a turn, you may skip that turn. Yeah, they can sort of cheat my Saga. Ooh, that's interesting. Maybe I should have made a construct. They did exactly that. That was cool. Okay. I respect it. Now they get 2 turns in a row at some point in the future. And I can get Mox Jet to unlock this Yogg-Will that just goes completely nuts. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. It's not what I want to do, but it's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that was really cool. I've never seen that come up. I'm sure the regular vintage players among us are like, yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, super cool. They're in a regular turn. If they feel like it at any point, they can take a second turn. They found the 3rd land, so if their hand is like Hullbreacher, Time Twister, I'm probably dead. If they herked me, that's not too bad. It kills the construct, but you know, whatever. That was only part of the plan. All right, they're going into a second turn. But if they have Twister, they could get rid of all my Mox in here. Okay, they just did nothing instead. They just drew a card. Fair enough. Love to find a mana source to protect my Yogg-Will with. That's not it. It is a blue card, though. I like blue cards. Okay. Land, Yogg-Will. Black Lotus come into play. There's a Saga, get in here. I can Time Walk and Merchant Scroll, or I can Demonic Tutor. Demonic Tutor could get Mox Sapphire. Yeah, I can find a blue source off of this. Yeah, this might be like really conservative, but I don't mind. Time Walk. Okay, go to a bonus turn. This time I know how the Time Vault thing works, so I can just make a construct on my turn. Make a construct. And I'm just going to pass. I don't want to give up Force Blue card with all these Pyroblasts. I'm going to win this game through beatdowns. Counter target spell if it's blue. Just hit that. No room for shenanigans. Draw step. A Tinker. That's a good one. I believe I want Sensei's top now. Just attack with my 6/6. Oh, I just fucked up. I'm playing fast because of my clock. I wanted Voltaic Key, and then I can Tinker for Time Vault with counter magic protection. That was just so bad. Just playing fast. Oh, they untapped Time Vault to give me an extra turn in which I attack for 12. I mean, I was attacking for lethal with double counterspell protection. Like, that game was pretty rolled up, but getting the vault or the key there and then Tinker for vault would have been the line. Unpunished. Let's keep going. This is why we test. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw in the final round, and I have a Black Lotus hand. There's a lot of power in this hand. I'm going to keep it. No interaction, which makes me a little nervous, but let's see where this goes. A Forest. Oh no. Mishra's Research Desk. Okay. I don't know what's going on anymore. Research Desk, by the way, sacrifice the desk, exile the top two cards to your library, choose one of them. Until end of turn, you may play that card, and this has Unearth. So it's kind of like you very slowly look at the top 4 cards of your deck and get the best 2, and temporarily. Okay. This is a crazy start. Underground Sea. Mana Crypt, Black Lotus. Unfortunately, Underground Sea is Underground Sea and not Volcanic Island, or else this turn would be a laugher. Mana Crypt. Crypt casts Voltaic Key. Pays for itself because it untaps Mana Crypt. Then Black Lotus. Make red. I can cast Dak, but I don't do anything else. I make blue. Cast Hullbreacher. I can Brainstorm and Time Walk. I'm going to Brainstorm for the burst of speed here, because we are doing kind of a fast thing. Oh yeah, Brainstorm rewarded with a Dak Faden. I think I'd rather get Dak in play now, use all my mana, save this Time Walk for the future. Ooh, Simian Spirit Guide. They're gonna crack their Research Desk? Oh no, I'm getting Pyroblasted. Sure. Okay. That was a pretty good turn. Alrighty. Let's see if we're just dead somehow. Haywire Might. You can sack this to exile target artifact, non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. Also a 1/1. On the flip, I'm very good at that. Attack with Hullbreacher. And I'm going to Time Walk. I'm pushing for damage. Seeing more cards always feels good. And I'm going to fetch a Volcanic Island. Move to my bonus turn. On the flip again, too easy. Volcanic Island, you really hate to see it. I am gonna not play my land and just pass. Found a land. I missed their second land drop, and then they just had one on turn 3. Research Desk. Feel Strip Mine Tarmogoyf. We can play Strip Mine until the end of next turn. It was an interesting decision. Oh, are you like a Fast Bond, Raminep Excavator, kill all my stuff forever deck? 3 for 3 on Mana Crypts. Too easy. Do I think they're going to trade both of these for Hullbreacher? I dare them. Go for it. Nope. Drawing another land kind of sucks, but mana is not going to be my problem this game. Action is. And their spells are uncounterable now, so we'll see where this mono green deck is taking me. Tarmogoyf from hand. That is enormous. Alright, gonna have to go broken now. And they can take me off black mana with Strip Mine. That's kind of rough. They're currently tapped out of green. If I find Time Vault, I can get through now. But this Haywire Might is pretty good. Lost a flip. I'm so unlucky. Oh. Well, we're probably dead here. But let's find out together. I would like a fresh hand and 7 treasures, please. That's why you put power in your deck. Black Sapphire. Valerian Academy taps for infinite mana. Not literally, but close enough. Oh, I actually just have the win here with DT for whatever it's called. You know what I'm trying to say. Vault. It's very late, or I'll just draw it. Okay. I'm gonna cast Time Vault. And now I can DT for Tinker or some way to clear the mana crypt so I don't die to Vault. Yeah. Broken Magic cards. Okay, my opponent is some sort of red-green Magic the Gathering cards contraption. Dismember, Fatal Push, Abrade all look pretty good here. Oppo. Pithing Needle. I have a Needle already. You saw Strip Mine. That doesn't necessarily mean they're a Wasteland deck, but they probably are a Wasteland deck. They gotta be a Saga deck too. Saga just enables all these fair strategies. We've seen Pyroblast, but we've also seen Allosaurus Shepherd. Not sure what they're doing with that. Are they like a natural order deck, or gotta imagine Force of Vigors in this pile? Maybe I do want Luster Storm. I'm not bringing in this second Needle. I don't have room for it. Currently need to make one cut based on all the stuff that I want to bring in. Maybe it is Needle. I thought about bringing in a second and ended up cutting the first. But this might be a Blightsteel matchup. It probably is a Blightsteel matchup. They have Tarmogoyfs and stuff. They can pressure my life total, making Bolas' Citadel kind of whack. I could also just shove through like I did that game, and it doesn't even matter. I'm going to cut Gataxian Probe. I don't really care what's in their hand. Let's do it that way. I like the 2 of Braids. I don't like that I have 1 mana and a bunch of expensive spells. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, Force of Will, Protection, and all my black cards. Is this literally every black card in the deck? Bolas' Citadel. Honorary black card. Yogwill, DT, Vamp Tutor. I did board in a couple of black cards, so it's not every one in the deck now, but I'm gonna mulligan this one also. It's just already down 3 cards. That's more like it. I'll keep this and the Citadel and the Volcanic Island. Yeah, okay. Wooded Foothills. Mental Misstep seems like somewhere I'll want to be eventually. I do want to put Sensei's Top into play. I don't really want to play into Wasteland, but also I want to cast my spells if I draw them. And Wasteland's going to hit Saga anyway. I think with this Merchant Scroll setup and top gaining advantage, going for the basic island is fine. Oh, they had the Strip Mine. Get fucked me. You only get one of those in this format. And there it is. On land. Too easy. Always had it. Don't worry about it. But now Wasteland is on. Every other land in my deck is wastable. That was just the one. Alice on 0. That's super annoying. I don't really want to force it. I'm going to look at my top cards and see if I have a land coming. Okay. This is actually fine. You can have your Chalice. I'm going to win without it. Chalice resolves. Outland Liberator. That's not a card I can beat. I'm going to force pitching Merchant Scroll. We've seen Spirit Guide Pyroblast as a line that they have access to, and I'm not falling for it. If I knew they had nothing, I would have held on to the scroll. But I didn't know that. And here is a gigantic mana advantage and an Urza Saga engine. Force of Vigor puts me in the ground, but they didn't do it on my turn when it was the opportunity. Oh, that sucks. Well, was there a land among these cards? Let's have a peek. There is a Force of Will among these cards, and I think I need it. See if they save the Spirit Guide for now. Their card is in the graveyard. It's where I need it to be. I'm redrawing top here, which I can play because Soul Ring is busted, and still have Construct mana up. Ace of Ith, my goodness. Gonna slow me down a little. Take a Construct. Manifold Key is in my hand now. Make another Construct. I can tutor up Artifact mana that Chalice would otherwise be shutting down. I might want Jet because I don't have any other source of black mana. Yeah, I'll take the Jet. And Play Manifold Key. And bash for 6 and be sent packing. Just bounce me right back there. But I have 2 of these for the future. Any kind of like meltdown chattering spree thing is going to be a nightmare. Gotta hope they don't have that. Played Beseiju as their land for turn when they are facing down bashing creatures. That's really interesting. Okay, Seeds of Innocence. That counts in my list of things that would obliterate me. That's a reason to play Beseiju. Okay, Mox Pearl not helpful. Under's pretty good. I'll take the Underground Sea for now. Draw, lose 5 items here for a total of 2 life gained. That also kills their Chalice. That was nice. Forgot about that. Mox Pearl is not unplayable. There's a Ponder on top of my deck with a Mox Pearl under it right now. And Seeds of Innocence. Come on. Collect a Roof. All right. Plan is clear. They don't want me to have artifacts. I understand. That's a really bad. Let's say stop. This Ponder needs to clear it out good. Full Push and Dismember are both in the deck. If they Pyroblast this Ponder, I'm just mushed. Pyroblast is a card I'm sure they have 4 of, and they've had no opportunity to cast yet this game. Okay. I am committed to drawing these 2 Mox in and just taking a bunch of damage from Collector Roof along the way. Armagoyf. Okay, so I take 2. I draw a Mox. Then I take 9. I draw a Mox. Then I take another 9. I'm dead. Locked out. That was cool. Don't think any cards in my deck. Oh, the Flusterstorms hit Seed Time and I said Seed Time. Seeds of Innocence. I actually have a brew challenge to play Seed Time on the channel in the queue. That's coming up soon. If you like obscure Magic cards. And you know I do. If Flusterstorm winning fights over Pyroblast and Seeds of Innocence, this sounds pretty important. Hullbreacher is kind of medium. It's not bigger than most of their creatures, and unless I am twisting, it's not really stopping them from doing anything. I'm pretty worried about Force of Vigor with Bolas's Citadel. Not gonna lie. I don't know if that means I want to cut it or just... or what. And on the play against this non-blue deck, Spirit Guide Pyroblast is what they can do on turn 1. They could have Mindbreak Trap. I'll leave in 1 I'll bring in another Flusterstorm instead of 2. That gives me 4 forces, the misstep. And I can turn 1 Hullbreacher. The Volcanic Island, Mox Pearl, Mana Crypt. And next turn I can Merchant Scroll for Ancestral. Didn't get Force of Vigor. Nature's Claim. Okay, I'll respond by casting Hullbreacher. And then I gain 4 life instead of taking 3 damage. Got him. I can still Ancestral here, which was my plan anyway. Underground Sea. Merchant Scroll. Ancestral Recall. Draw some cards. And all of that just happens. Pulse the Citadel. Tough draw, but Dig Through Time, Flusterstorm are welcome. Also a pretty big Yogg-Will. Get back Mana Crypt and cast Ancestral. Play a land from my graveyard. All good stuff. Fade in. They are holding up Pyroblast now, which they weren't doing a moment ago. I'm going to go for the value Yogg-Will. This undoes all this work I did on Dig Through Time, but it's fine. Casting spells out of the graveyard all over the place. Ancestral myself. This gets Pyroblasted, whatever. At least Pyroblast is out of the hand. And that is a handful of cards. Continue the beatdown. I have to go to clean up here. Didn't draw anything that I could cast. It was just 3 lands off the Ancestral, but that's still 3 lands. Don't have to draw. I don't think the Scalding Tarn should be in the graveyard. If a card would be put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, exile that card instead. Until end of turn. The cleanup step is where until end of turn effects wear off, but it's also where you discard. I'm pretty sure this is not supposed to be in the graveyard, though. And my shields are down right now. Inskin Boo, okay. Yep, that's a reason to be in these colors. I'm about to take 5 if they attack, or they could just block. Ooh. We didn't plus. Are they planning on drawing 2 cards? They're planning on killing Hullbreacher. Okay. They still get the treasures here, and they don't draw the cards, if that is the plan. Okay. Yeah, because the Hullbreacher doesn't die until state-based actions are checked, which is after this ability is done resolving, so I'm going to get 2 treasures here. But my Hullbreacher is dead. Correct. Now I can cast Bolas' Citadel with ease. Come on, let's win this flip. We've done well so much. Lost the flip. This is an outrage. Well, every lane of my deck's in my hand, so hopefully the Citadel goes pretty deep. Bolas' Citadel is on the stack. Brainstorm. I'm going to cast that and hold priority. I'm going to release priority. Just more lands here. I'm going to put Dak Faden and a Braid on top of the deck. Braid the Ignoble Hierarch. I get Dak Faden. I do need to be careful with my life total. This is a pretty expensive thing that's happening here. And like, Minsc Boo does a lot of damage. I don't really want to make my land drop yet, but I don't want to activate Dak yet either. Alright, I'll play my land. Now I have to activate Dak. Draw 2, discard 2. I'll discard a bunch of fetch lands. Looks like I won't need them because I drew everything they fetch. Here we go. Now we're ripping some fast mana. Dig through time. This puts Fatal Push, Hullbreacher in the hand. Narset might be better. I like Fatal Push to keep Boo off my back. It looks like I'm going to have to pass the turn here, unless Time Walk is on top of my deck. And I think Narset's better than Hullbreacher. Or Hullbreacher, no, I have Dak in play. Okay. Narset does a similar thing, but I want the mana off Dak. Force of Will on top of my deck. Okay. Guess I'm passing the turn and discarding some cards. Probably 2 Urza Sagas. I don't think the game's going to go long enough for me to worry about that. It could be Saga and Valk. Yeah, I have a bunch of colored mana. I have Force of Will from my hand and Force of Will from the top of my deck and Flusterstorm to be alive here. 1 mana short of deploying one of my hateful creatures. That's a shame. He just played Boseiju from hand with Bolas' Citadel in play. Kind of terrifying. Okay, I have to Force of Will this one. It's too good. Force pitching Flusterstorm. I don't really want to force off the top of my deck because that costs so much life. Wire Might. This exiles my Bolas' Citadel. I am worried about that. Actually, it's fine. I have Dak Hullbreacher going. They tap out to do this. I go to 12. I think this is fine. I'm not happy about it, but Minsc Boo can sure Dak. I got a Fatal Push. I need Dak to play this game, basically. That's not negotiable. I'm going to play Hullbreacher plus Dak target them. And then I'll have Force of Will in my hand, Urza Saga up. But watch out for this Mana Crypt. And Trample creatures are busted. Won the flip. Good news. Urza Saga, get into play. Hullbreacher, join Urza Saga in play. Fade in. Target player draws 2, discards 2. I choose my opponent. But it turns out they can't draw 2, so they just have to discard 2, and then I get treasures. What a neat interaction. Ancient Grudge and another Boseiju. This deck is not playing, and I'm still pretty far ahead. This Minsc Boo, though, this is going to do a lot of damage. But Boo, the Planeswalker will die this turn. I have multiple gigantic creatures, and my Saga tokens are going to be fucknormous. Just have to survive my Mana Crypt flips. All that's going on here. That's the last uncovered angle in this game. Okay, I'm taking a big hit right now, and then we chill. Try to beat my opponent. Ooh, no attack. Okay. That gives me a chance. Opposition agent, get in there. I can shove through and clear Minsc Boo anyway, and they can decide which hate bear they don't want to play anymore. But that gives me a turn with 4 more life, which is the only thing I was worried about. Oh, and I just drew Vamp Tutor. I can tinker away my Mana Crypt, and then I just don't care about anything. Okay, I'm going to activate Saga with Mana Crypt now while I can. And I cast Vampiric Tutor, which puts me to 5. Then I can tinker away the crypt, get Blightsteel, and we're chilling. Oh, I almost just Vampire Tutored for Blightsteel in my tired brain here. I could also just Twister, get a fresh 7 treasures, and see where the game goes from there. Seems greedy and unnecessary, though. Okay, tinker on top of my deck. Deck target me. Draw 2, discard 2. I'm going to discard this Urza Saga and this Sensei's Top. And then 1, 2, 3. Tinker the Mana Crypt away. Get a Blightsteel Colossus. And I can hardcast Force of Will. I'm about to clear Minsk and Boo. I will sacrifice one of these creatures on the altar of winning the game. So they have to beat Urza Saga and whichever lock beast they leave in play, and Blightsteel Colossus, and Force of Will, and Dax About to Emblem. They do have Ancient Grudge in the graveyard, which can clear a Construct token, but it can't clear Blightsteel. Took out Hullbreacher, fair enough. Did an Ancient Grudge in the end step. Outland Liberator. Does that kill me? Do I care about that? That clears Urza Saga. Yeah, I'm just going to counter it. We're in here. Overwhelming advantage. Let's try to keep it. Opponent cannot attack. Attack can emblem this turn. If I can find a way to target Boo. Snapcaster Mage. Fatal Push is in my graveyard. Okay, I win the game. Fun. I like winning the game. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff I don't need to do. Because it's vintage and I'm having a good time. I could also just Manifold Key and make my Blightsteel unblockable. I got this covered so many ways. Can I do both? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm a mana short of doing both an unblockable Blightsteel and snapping the Boo. Alright. I think Manifold Key is more stylish. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. I choose my 11/11 Trample Infect creature. And they packed it up. That is a 4-1 result with some sloppy play. A little rusty on vintage. Surprised by some of the technology I ran into. Surprised by some of the decks. I also just resolved multiple top activations like they were Ponders and stacked things wrong under Bolas' Citadel, and just my vintage muscles are a little dusty right now. But knocking the dust off of them because Eternal Weekend is coming. Some version of a blue deck with Ancestral Recall and Tinker in it is almost certainly what I'm going to play. I respect the Bazaar decks. Shops decks are fine, but I'm not the type of gamer who would sign up for a 9 or 10 round event without Ancestral Recall in my deck if it's an option. I don't know that I liked the 4x Hullbreacher strat here. There's also no like Underworld Breach or Paradoxical Outcome. There's only the Tinker tucked into this Saga control shell. Deciding if I want to go light like this deck or heavy like a Breach deck or a PO deck is another decision to be made. You get mostly the same shell out of both, but you lose some stuff here and there and you gain power elsewhere. All that's on the table, but I'm likely going to be playing 45 plus of these 60 at Eternal Weekend. Good to know you can leave a format for 6 months and come back and it's still mostly the same. That's one of the things I love about Vintage. Legacy too. And that's where I'm going to leave this. The deck was insane, carried me, even though it didn't always deserve it. Derek, thank you for giving me the option to play this deck. I love being able to prep for real tournaments on the channel. I got another tournament prep dealer's choice in the canon too. It'll probably be more vintage next week as we head up to Eternal Weekend. That's 2 weeks out. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon and all the other links in the video description that support the channel. I appreciate you as always, and I'll see you next time.